All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It's Dave, the harmless music observer, me doing what I do, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. Don't worry, this won't turn into a David Lee Roth podcast, I promise. We're just going to try to get to the point. We're going to stay on one topic. Before I hit the topic, thanks to all the new Patreon people. You know who you are, and I really appreciate your support. It means a lot to me in this day and age of Twitter trolling and nasty comments, which it's a part of the world. So I appreciate all those people coming over to support me and this channel. Chicago the Band. In 2019, I believe Chicago the Band has righted their listing ship. I really believe this. I've been watching some concert footage, and I got to tell you, Neil Donnell, who I wasn't really a super huge fan of, I think is doing a good job on lead vocals. A lot of people say it's just karaoke now. This guy doesn't really have the same groove, and I said it, and then I thought about this. You know, all the vocalists that Chicago has had over the years to actually fill in for Peter, nobody's been able to really fill in for Peter. Okay, Jason probably did the best attempt, especially early on when everybody was saying just imitate Peter, try to sound like Peter. Even David Foster said, hey, I tried to make him sound like Peter. As time went on, Jason became more Jason, and the band, I think, wrote music to kind of accommodate his voice, and he had his own distinctive sound. Jeff Coffey, I think, had a different voice. His was more clean and more pop-oriented, I would say. Just a different style of a singer, but still in that tenor zone. And when Neil Donnell came in, he kind of blew everything up because he's a guy who can sing, you know, any part. He could sing like the Terry Kath parts if you needed him to, but they've got Lou Pardini, and they got Robert Lamb as well, so they didn't need him to do that. So he's primarily the tenor, and he's sounding better and better as time has gone on. If you close your eyes and just listen to the tunes, you can hear hints of Peter in there, hints, but then you hear just Neil. So Neil's very distinctive. He's got his own thing. I think Neil has more soul in his voice than, say, the last couple of guys that have been in this group singing those parts. So that's a good thing. Soul is a good thing, and I think Neil does bring that to the table. I just don't know if I was sold on the fact that he doesn't have a traditional Peter Cetera sounding tenor, but when I thought about it more, really nobody on earth sounds like Peter Cetera, just like nobody really sounds like Steve Perry. I mean, yeah, there's some Perry-ish people out there, but nobody has that soul, that inner soul that Perry has, combined with that high, soaring tenor voice. The rest of the band, too, Brett Simons, great bass player that they got, played, I think, in the Beach Boys, Belinda Carlisle, a few other artists. I mean, the guy was really well known in various circles. Walfredo Reyes Jr., who was the percussionist, went over to drums because Tris Imboden left at the same time Jeff Coffey left, and Tris was kind of a power drummer, so I guess power and really precision, and Walfredo is a little more fusiony and a little more Latin oriented in his style, which is actually good for Chicago because Chicago has always had that element to their music, a lot of R&B influences, and it doesn't hurt. And yes, the band has another percussionist who also is of the same ilk. In other words, he plays the same style. So this is a good band. Keith Howland is still a beast on guitar. Robert Lamb is a force of nature. And look, Chicago, from what I've read, this may be one of those bands that does like a Blood, Sweat, and Tears in a few years, like they just transition to a band that really has nobody who's original, because these guys can't go on forever. I mean, Robert Lamb will be 75 years old in October, so, you know, I don't know. The road is rough, and I'm sure that these guys eventually are going to want to just, you know, relax and enjoy the rest of their lives. So that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe over on Patreon, and we'll chat again soon. See you then.